Single dad brings a woman to his sister's wedding, the groom calls her, boss. Daniel hadn't planned on bringing anyone to his sister's wedding. Between raising 8-year-old Noah, juggling overtime shifts at the logistics company, and barely keeping his head above water after his divorce, dating sat somewhere between impossible and laughable. Still, when his sister Emily begged him not to show up alone, "Please, Dan, I don't want people whispering that my big brother is some tragic widower," he'd hesitated just long enough for fate to step in. That fate wore a navy blue dress and answered to the name Claire Morgan. Technically, she was his boss, the CEO of Morgan Freight Solutions. Brilliant, intimidating, and so far out of his league that Daniel never looked at her longer than necessary. But when she overheard him on a late call, awkwardly declining yet another wedding invitation excuse, she'd paused. "Your sister's wedding?" Claire asked, glancing up from her tablet. "Yeah," Daniel muttered, "family obligation, and you don't want to go alone." He stiffened. "It's not. I mean, I'll go," she said calmly. Daniel blinked. "You, what, as your date?" she clarified. "Purely to help. One day, no office politics." He'd stared at her like she'd suggested skydiving without a parachute. "You're my boss." She smiled faintly. "Not this weekend." The wedding was held at a countryside estate. White arches, fairy lights, soft violin music drifting through the air. Daniel arrived gripping the steering wheel tighter than necessary, Noah asleep in the backseat, flower petals stuck in his hair from the rehearsal. Claire stepped out of her car, and Daniel forgot how to breathe. She looked different, softer, not the sharp suits and heels, but a flowing dress, her hair loosely pinned. Still powerful, but warm. "You okay?" she asked quietly. Daniel nodded too fast. "Yeah, totally." Inside, Emily spotted them immediately. Her grin spread like wildfire. "You must be Claire," Emily said, hugging her before Daniel could warn her about personal space. "Oh my gosh, Daniel never brings anyone." "You're beautiful, Emily," Daniel groaned. Claire laughed. "Thank you, he's been nothing but kind." The ceremony was perfect. Claire held Noah's hand when Daniel had to help with last-minute family photos. She whispered jokes during the vows that made Daniel snort despite himself. By the time they reached the reception, something unfamiliar sat in Daniel's chest, ease. Then came the speeches. The groom, Mark, stepped up to the microphone, smiling confidently. "I want to thank everyone for being here," he began. "Especially my amazing bride, Emily. And of course, my future brother-in-law, Daniel." Daniel lifted his glass. "And," Mark continued, turning slightly, "I see we have Claire Morgan with us tonight." Claire stiffened. Daniel frowned. Mark smiled wider. "My boss." The room went silent. A few gasps. A few confused murmurs. Emily turned slowly toward Daniel. "Boss." Daniel's face drained of color. "Mark." Claire stood. "It's okay," she said calmly, placing a hand on Daniel's arm. "Let him finish." Mark chuckled awkwardly. I didn't realize, I didn't know. "That Daniel works for me?" Claire asked. "Yes." She smiled, steady and composed. "That's because Daniel doesn't use people. And he certainly doesn't brag." Whispers rippled across the room. Claire faced the guests. "Daniel is one of the hardest working people I know. He's never once asked for favors. Not when his son was sick. Not when his hours were cut. Not when his car broke down. I found out about most of it by accident." Daniel swallowed hard. "So yes," she continued, "I'm his boss. But tonight, I'm here because I wanted to be. Because your brother is someone worth showing up for." Emily's eyes filled with tears. Mark cleared his throat. "Well, then I guess I should thank my boss for approving my wedding leave." Laughter broke the tension, but Daniel wasn't laughing. Outside, beneath the string lights, Daniel finally spoke. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I should have told you about Mark." Claire shook her head. "You didn't do anything wrong. I didn't want people to think that you're using me," she finished. He nodded. She met his gaze. "Daniel, you didn't even want to ask me. That's why I respect you." A small voice interrupted them. "Dad." Noah stood nearby, rubbing his eyes. Claire knelt instantly. "Hey, buddy, tired?" Noah nodded, then looked up at her seriously. "Are you really my dad's boss?" She smiled. "At work, yes." Noah thought for a moment. "But you're nice." Daniel laughed softly, emotion threatening to break him. "I should get him home," Daniel said. Claire hesitated. "Can I come with you?" He searched her face. "You don't have to." "I know," she said. "I want to." Later, After Noah was tucked into bed, they sat quietly on Daniel's couch, wedding music echoing faintly in his memory. "I don't expect anything," Daniel said. I needed you to know I never planned." Claire took his hand. "I know," she said gently. "But maybe, we can plan something now." Daniel exhaled, a smile slowly breaking through years of restraint. For the first time, he didn't feel like a single dad struggling to survive. He felt like a man being seen, exactly as he was.